Now, Electrochem Ghana Limited, the company contracted to mine salt in the Songhor Lagoon, has disassociated itself from the attack on Radio Adan that occurred yesterday. This comes after the management of the media house said the yet-to-be-identified hoodlums who attacked the station and unleashed violence on some staff members warned the station to cease all programming on the Songhor Lagoon project or face a series of attacks. The deputy station manager of the company, Noah Dame, disclosed that the station broadcast on the project, which has been leased to Electrochem Ghana Limited, has become a story of concern to the indigents. He tells JoyNews some staff and clients were assaulted during the raid. He indicated they are waiting on the police to act.
They are thick, tall, and one of them spoke Dangbi, but the rest spoke English. The one is holding a pistol and a handcuff. That person is in the fake military attire. There are no name tags on it, and so we sent the victim, our staff, to the police, and then they gave us a police medical form. He has been sent to the hospital, treated and discharged. Now organizing to present a formal police report. Media Commission is also there. We will also report to them.
Responding to the issue, the Corporate Communications and Public Relations Manager of Electrochem Ghana Limited, Henkin Ajasekojo, says the company has no hand in the incident. The Greater Accra Secretariat of the NDC has condemned the incident, demanding the police arrest and prosecute persons behind it. The MP for the area, Comfort Ganza, has been visiting the community to assess the situation. We'll be speaking with her shortly, but Kwame Yanka has been monitoring events for us there. Kwame, what can you report from the community after the MP's visit?
So, the area where Radio Adan is sited is quiet because this is the only radio station, community radio in here, which closes its programs by 10 p.m. But since yesterday, it hasn't aired after the attack. Well, I understand the attack happened around 11:30, where it had its music block from 9 to 1 p.m. playing at a time, where these seven men in plain clothes, with one of them with pistol, I should say, came in and then unleashed the attack on them, looking for one Noah Dame, who is the deputy coordinator for the company. Well, I must say that at this point, the company is trying to put things together, rearrange its equipment, among other things, to be back on air, because this is the only mouthpiece of the people in this area.
Into the area, what are the preliminary investigations suggesting? Okay,
so well, as you might have played earlier after the soundbite or footage shoot, there are some conflicts in here. Now, an aspect of the attack is being linked to Electrochem's operations, but then they're also wondering, since they didn't anything surrounding Songhor Lagoon or Electrochem within the week, they are quite surprised that this might have been the case. What they do is that on Sundays, they have a community program called Manomunyu, where the radio station discusses issues surrounding the community, for which Songhor has featured recently. But then the program, which also repeated on Wednesday, couldn't happen. However, the organizers of now there was another demonstration which was supposed to have happened this week, but that couldn't happen because police stated that they didn't have enough men to provide security for those who be embarking on this demonstration. So to repeat the program on Wednesday, that didn't happen, but at least it started informing listeners that the demonstration has been called off for some reason. So these are, in fact, those who are attacked, as well as the committee, are wondering what might have triggered this attack in the first place.
We can now speak with Doyo Ganza, who is MP for the area. All right, we'll try and get Madam Doyo Ganza to be back on and tell us what her first-hand information is when she visited the area. But we can broaden the conversation now and speak with Ken Ashigbi, who is CEO of the Ghana Telecoms Chamber. He's also a former media manager. And Suleiman Abrahima, who is Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa. I'm grateful for your time, gentlemen. Yet another attack on a media house for discussing issues affecting the livelihoods of a community. I'll start with you, Ms. Ashigbi.
Thank you very much, Aisha. It's really, really unfortunate that in this day and age, people would still be attacking media houses for work that they have done. And in all your reportage, I've not heard anything about footages that have captured those who attacked the station. And I think it's very important for all of us, especially those in the media, to realize the fact that by the very nature of our work, you have, people like this who would want to attack us. And so, we take the necessary steps. Apart from fortifying our stations, also providing some CCTV cameras and all of that. And I'm hoping that in today's age where a lot of you media houses also do a lot of live streaming, there might have been some cameras who would have captured some of these people who have done this. But even beyond that, we should also be asking, I know the road to Ada, there are a lot of CCTV cameras that are there. Definitely people should have seen these people, the vehicles they were driving. And definitely we should be able to get from national security footages of those particular vehicles and who were in them and who they are, so that we definitely go after these people. An attack on journalists anywhere is an attack on all of us, because at the end of the day, the media basically just carry, the freedom of speech that we all do. They hold that in trust for us. So it is really important that we get to the bottom of this and find out who are those who did this dastardly act and bring them to book.
You have condemned the attacks in no mean terms, but that's what we've done over the period. But the issue still persists.
Yes, unfortunately, that's very true. And it is important that beyond just condemnation, we find ways in which we are able to deal with situations like this. But in this particular case, where we don't know who the people are, it is difficult to go after anybody. And it is important that the identity of these people can be established. And that is why we would urge the national security apparatus to be able to use the national CCTV footage that we have to trace these people. And definitely there are people in the community who would have seen these people get out of vehicles and all of that, be able to help the national security apparatus and the police to be able to identify these people so that we can go after them.
We've had a number of opportunities to find better ways of protecting journalists. I'm not sure we've made any headway with it. What does this latest incident mean to our fight?
Well, it just says to us that there's still a lot of work that has to be done. And I think that at the bottom of all this is the journalists, and nothing happens to them. So the impunity continues. People know that they do this and they can get away with it. There are too many stories still out there of people, so Latif, from your stable, for example, as of today, the police are still telling us that they don't know the people who attacked Latif at the police headquarters. We have the situation of Pius, who was shot during the last election. This case has gone to court. Severally, they just keep on, adjourning the case. Nothing is happening to that. Then you have even the case of Ahmed Swali, that was attacked and, killed. And, the case is going nowhere. It is really important that all of us, especially with the security apparatus, the police, that we need to be getting to the bottom of this and letting people know that attacks on the journalists and attacks on everybody would not go unpunished. And it is only when we begin to really have, treat people who do these things with the heavy hand that they deserve, that it would become a deterrent. For these people to be brazen enough to go into a live studio and attack tells you that we've not been doing a good job at this.
Let me bring in Suleiman Abrahima, who is Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa. You've issued a statement to condemn the attack. What does this new incident, because we know we've been condemning over the period, but the issue still persists. What does this incident mean for our fight?
Well, I think that what happened yesterday is a very barbaric incident. One would not expect that where we've gotten to as a country, the profile that we have when it comes to press freedom, some of these things will be happening in Ghana. Indeed, I am very sure that when people in our neighboring countries read about this story, they'll be wondering whether it is the Ghana they know of or we are talking about a different Ghana. I think we've gotten to a point where we need to tell ourselves that enough is enough. As Ken was saying, the problem mainly is because over the years, we have nurtured and grown a culture of impunity for crimes against journalists. This is not the first time a radio station has been stormed and attacked. We've had an incident in Tamale with Radio Justice. There has been an incident with Radio Zar in Tamale. We've had, even here in Accra, pastors storming radio stations and attacking presenters and attacking station facilities and all of that. All these years, none of these incidents has really seen any successful prosecution and having someone punished. I think, as I said, we've gotten to a point where we tell ourselves, enough is enough. I don't think that the state authorities that are supposed to protect all of us are interested, or at least have not shown any commitment and any interest in protecting journalists and ensuring that journalists are free to do their work. Well, I think we've also gotten to a point where we have to perhaps begin to resort to the regional court in Abuja. We've done that before and we were successful against the Jammeh government. Perhaps it is time that we begin to utilize that particular facility to ensure that at least those responsible for these crimes are brought to book. And indeed, let me just emphasize that in a case involving the state of the Gambia at the ECOWAS court, in one particular instance about the murder of Deda Haidara, the court's ruling was that even if there was no evidence to indicate that the state, in terms of its agents, was responsible for the murder of Deda Haidara, the state had a responsibility to ensure that investigations were conducted and perpetrators brought to book. And for the state failing to do that, the court sanctioned the state and imposed a fine on behalf of Deda Haidara, and that went to the family. So I don't think that our government can always say, well, we don't know the perpetrators, well, we can't find the perpetrators, and that should be the end. I think the ECOWAS court offers us an opportunity to begin to seek justice for victims of these violence.
You've called for investigations into the matter and the perpetrators arrested. What exactly are you expecting of the police and all others who matter in the investigations?
Well, fortunately, we have a current police administration that we all applaud. We all see how assertive they are in terms of dealing with crime. Fortunately, also, we have had the opportunity of developing what is called the Media Police Relations Framework. That is supposed to ensure that the police take the interests of journalists and their safety as a matter of something that is quite serious, and journalists also then recognizing the importance and the functions of the police in ensuring law and order. I believe that this is a matter that deserves a national attention. It is not just an individual journalist who has been beaten. It is, a whole station that has been attacked, equipment vandalized. And I believe that the government of Ghana should be interested, because these are the kinds of things that at the end of the day dent our reputation, gets us to have our press freedom records going down and down as we have witnessed over the years. And so I believe it is a matter that the police headquarters, the IGP and his senior officers must take a keen interest in and ensure that proper investigations are done and the perpetrators brought to book. I don't think that if these folks had stormed a police station and brutalized police officers, we can simply say we can't find them. I'm sure the police, professional as they are, would certainly be able to trace them if only they want to do what they have to do. And I would hope and believe that they would want to take that up.
Mr. Barima, what's the role of the media houses and journalists themselves in achieving this goal of protecting journalists or media personnel?
Well, certainly media houses do have a responsibility in terms of orienting their journalists and workers to know that there are safety issues concerning or involved in our work, and at least some certain safety measures must be put in place. I heard Ken talked about CCTVs and all of that, which is really great, but we should also recognize that there are media organizations that are playing very crucial roles in our community, such as Radio Ada, that may not have the luxury of the resources that would enable them to acquire all the infrastructure that is necessary to safeguard their premises and all of that. I don't think that broadcasting is a crime. If anybody feels offended by the content of a broadcast or by the content of any publication, the laws are there for people to either go to court or, certainly go to court or file a petition with the National Media Commission or send in a rejoinder. And media houses are bound by law to ensure that when they receive rejoinders, they treat them as important as they did to their own stories. So media houses do have a responsibility, but there is a limit to that. All of us, that's why the police exist. That's why the military exists. That's why the national intelligence institutions exist. But as I said, I think we must say to ourselves that enough is enough. Last year in July, we had cause to petition Parliament and to petition the National Security Minister. We did have meetings with the National Security Minister, a very fruitful meeting. And one would hope that these things will not happen. But of course, as they may not be able to preempt these things happening, when they happen, the way to avoid future occurrence is to deal with the perpetrators of these incidents.
Ashigbe, what would it take to end this violence on journalists? Do we have Mr. Ken Ashigbe on? Mr. Ashigbe, I'm asking what it will take to end this violence on journalists.
Well, it will take you and I, working together with the state apparatus to say to people who do these things that it's not acceptable, to ensure that the full rigors of the law applies, that we actually go after them. We should realize this is the fourth estate of the realm. And if we, all of us as a country, tout that and we think that is important. And I agree with my brother where he talks about the fact that if this was any of the other three arms of government that were attacked, by now, we will bring the full force of state to bear on these people. So we need to see that demonstrated by the state authorities. We need to be seeing our media commission doing more than they have done. I have had pains with, the way the media commission had handled some of these things. GJ as well. All we do, we talk. We need to be going beyond the talk. And I agree with Brian that we should be going to the regional court. It is time we did that. There are some cases that are still outstanding that we need to be taking. The precedents have been there, and the West African, his organization have demonstrated it, that this is something that they've done successfully. And we need to bring it to, into our country so that once we do that, and the states know that we have recourse to another, court to be able to bring some, justice, then the state would also be doing its work. And once the state begin to do their work, then the perpetrators would know that they cannot hide behind anything, and that we would find them out. And all of us, should be able to help in this particular situation. As media people, we need to keep the attention on it. We should not leave it if we don't get any proper investigation being done. And I am also very hopeful that with the new IGP that we have, working together with the National Security Minister, we should be able to have footage that will be able to identify these 7 hoodlums who want to disgrace our country, who have attacked, a citizen of this country who currently now has to go to hospital and all of that. And I urge, the Radio Adam people that they should not stop what it is that they're doing. Their duty is to be able to hold leadership to account. Their duty is to be able to give the voiceless a voice. And that's why they are there. They are community radio. The issues of their community is important. And if anybody does not agree with what it is, they should also go in there and have their voices heard. We are in the 4th Republican, constitutional room. This is not a jungle. And people like that, they have no place but in jail.
Ken Asibi, CEO of the Ghana Telecoms Chamber and a former media manager. Suleiman Ibrahima is Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa. Our man Kwame Yanka, who is on that beat for us, is still on with us. Kwame Yanka here, the Member of Parliament for the area, Doyo Ganza, is currently addressing the press. What has she been saying? Hello, Kwame Yanka.
Hello, Aisha.
Yes, we are hearing that the MP is addressing the press. What has she been saying?
Okay, so she has condemned the attack in the first place, and she said under no circumstance should any media house be attacked for playing its role as a member of the community. Again, she has called on the Inspector General of Police, IGP, to, as it were, help get personnel to guard the station, because to her, Radio Adam plays a vital role in the community since it's the only radio station in this area. And then linking it to the Electrochem operations, she says, though, yes, investigations could be underway to unravel what actually caused led to the attack. But then, even if it's about the operations of the company, for her, she has no facts to this. But then, if anyone is playing his or her role as a media personnel, and I know to the person be attacked. So, and then she has also promised the company that she's going to support them by way of cash to repair equipment which was destroyed, as well as some CCTV cameras to, as it were, beef up security in the area. So, in brief, that's what I can say.
That is Kwame Yanka. The monitoring for us press conference currently ongoing. We'll bring you more on that in a subsequent bulletin.